For many travellers, the Airbus A380 has become more than just another aircraft type. So in this video, we take a look at the real benefits of flying on Emirates' Airbus A380, how the aircraft's unique design shapes the passenger experience, and why so many frequent flyers continue to choose it over other modern wide-body aircraft. And be sure to check out Simpleflying's flight tracker. From live alerts and data on commercial, military and government flights, it goes way beyond your standard tracker. It was built specifically for avgeeks, free and live, right at your fingertips. The key benefit of flying on Emirates' Airbus A380 is that it delivers a noticeably calmer, more comfortable long-haul experience than most other wide-body aircraft. This is not simply because the A380 is larger, but because its design creates more usable space per passenger, reducing noise, congestion, and the feeling of crowding. Even before considering premium features, the aircraft feels fundamentally different once on board when compared with other airline products or aircraft types. The airline's cabin layouts, upper deck design, and onboard amenities are built around passenger comfort, regardless of whether that be in economy, business, or first class. As a result, travellers often describe the A380 as quieter, smoother, and less fatiguing on long sectors compared to aircraft like the Boeing 777, even when flying in the same cabin class. This experience is rooted in how the A380 was originally conceived. Airbus designed the aircraft around cabin volume and stability at a time when congestion and passenger comfort were growing concerns, while Emirates structured its network to take full advantage of those characteristics. Several design and operational factors combine to shape why flying on Emirates' A380 feels different from other long-haul aircraft. While size plays a role, the experience is more heavily influenced by how that space is used, how the aircraft behaves in flight, and how Emirates has configured its cabins around passenger flow rather than maximum density. Together, these elements affect everything from boarding to how the aircraft feels hours into a long journey. One of the most important factors is cabin volume. The A380's wide fuselage allows for broader aisles, larger galleys, and more open seating areas, which helps reduce congestion during boarding, meal services, and very importantly, lavatory queues. The aircraft is also inherently quieter and more stable in cruise, thanks to its size and four-engine configuration, which dampens vibration and turbulence. Emirates further enhances these characteristics through consistent seat layouts and upper deck zoning that separate premium cabins from the main deck economy flow. The carrier has effectively mastered the A380 experience through consistent refinement of the aircraft's internal space. These factors are especially noticeable on long-haul sectors where small comfort differences compound over time. Passengers frequently report that boarding feels less chaotic, cabin movement is easier during the flight, and the overall atmosphere is calmer compared to similarly long flights on narrower wide bodies. While Emirates' service and amenities play a prominent role in making A380 services so different from competitors, much of this experience is rooted in the A380's physical design. Emirates has consistently positioned the Airbus A380 as the centerpiece of its overall long-haul product, rather than simply one aircraft type among many. On its official fleet pages, the airline highlights the A380's role in delivering space, comfort, and onboard features that would be difficult to replicate on smaller wide bodies by comparison. This strategy reflects a broader airline philosophy that prioritizes the onboard experience as a key differentiator, particularly on ultra-long-haul routes where comfort becomes a decisive factor for passengers. That positioning is reinforced by how the aircraft is configured and presented to passengers. Emirates' published A380 seating charts show a deliberate emphasis on upper deck separation, generous premium cabin layouts, and dedicated social spaces rather than maximizing overall seat density. Passenger feedback broadly aligns with this approach. Online discussions and travel-related forums frequently point to the A380's calm cabin environment, particularly on the upper deck, as a defining feature of the experience. Rather than focusing exclusively on headline amenities, many travellers emphasise how the aircraft feels less congested during boarding and more relaxed in flight, suggesting that Emirates' A380 reputation is built as much on atmosphere and spatial design as it is on luxury branding. When compared with other wide-body aircraft, the Emirates A380 stands out less for any single feature and more for how its overall design changes the passenger experience. Aircraft like the Boeing 777 or Airbus A350 are highly efficient and technologically advanced, but they operate within tighter cabin volumes that naturally limit how space can be distributed on board. As a result, even well-designed cabins can feel busier, particularly during boarding and peak service periods. The A380's double-deck layout fundamentally alters that dynamic. By separating cabins vertically rather than compressing them longitudinally, Emirates is able to reduce foot traffic through premium areas, limit cross-cabin congestion, and create quieter zones, especially on the upper deck. By contrast, Emirates' Boeing 777 fleet, while offering modern seats and a strong onboard product, cannot replicate the same sense of openness or calm simply due to physical constraints. The 777's strengths lie not in the cabin design but in performance metrics, as it is a far more economically efficient aircraft. This comparison helps explain why many frequent flyers actively seek out the A380 when booking Emirates, even when seat products are otherwise similar. While the Emirates A380 offers clear benefits, those advantages are not universal across every route or travel scenario. The aircraft is concentrated on Emirates' highest demand markets, meaning many destinations are served by a mix of aircraft types rather than exclusively by the A380. Even on major long-haul routes, A380 services may operate only once per day, with remaining frequencies handled by the Boeing 777. This makes the experience dependent on careful flight selection rather than guaranteed availability. Operational factors also play a role. Aircraft substitutions can occur at short notice, and when an A380 is replaced with another wide-body, access to features such as the upper deck cabin, onboard lounge, or shower facilities disappears entirely. For passengers booking specifically to experience the A380, this introduces a degree of uncertainty that does not exist with more standardized fleet deployments. Additionally, the A380's size limits it to a smaller number of compatible airports and gates, which can affect scheduling flexibility and, in some cases, result in longer taxi or turnaround times at congested hubs. Finally, the aircraft's advantages are most apparent on longer sectors, where cabin calm, reduced congestion, and ride stability have time to make a meaningful difference. On shorter long-haul or medium-haul flights, those benefits are less pronounced, particularly in economy class, where seat design and service matter more than overall cabin volume. In those scenarios, modern twin-engine widebodies can deliver a comparable experience. Ultimately, the benefits of flying on Emirates' Airbus A380 are rooted less in novelty and more in how space, flow, and stability come together to shape the passenger experience. The aircraft's size allows Emirates to create cabins that feel calmer, quieter, and less congested, particularly on long-haul routes where those factors compound over time. When combined with deliberate cabin zoning and consistent layouts, the A380 delivers an experience that many travellers perceive as meaningfully different from other wide-body aircraft. However, that distinction is not universal. The A380's advantages are most apparent on longer sectors and in premium cabins, and they depend heavily on route selection and aircraft availability. For passengers flying shorter routes or booking without regard to aircraft type, modern twin-engine widebodies can offer a comparable experience in many respects. Seen in context, the Emirates A380 works so well because it aligns aircraft design with airline strategy. While other carriers have struggled to justify the Super Jumbo, Emirates has built its network and onboard product around the A380's strengths. As a result, the aircraft remains a carefully refined platform for a distinctive long-haul experience. What do you think? Have you ever flown on Emirates' Airbus A380? And do you think the extra space and comfort make a noticeable difference compared with aircraft like the Boeing 777 or Airbus A350? Let us know by leaving a comment, and don't forget to subscribe for more aviation content. See you next time. In addition to our daily YouTube videos, Simple Flying publishes over 150 articles and a podcast every week. Visit simpleflying.com.